Hello, I am Morpheolus here with the speedrun of Terraria Princess Percent Journey. You might be wondering, what the heck is Princess Percent? Well, it's a little bit of a fun little mini category that I came up with. Basically, the premise of Princess Percent is to get the princess to move in as fast as possible. The reason why I say princess and not all NPCs is because of Santa Claus. Santa Claus only spawns within a couple weeks during the year, or after you've completed the Frost Legion, which is after you've completed the Frost Moon and everything like that. So we're getting started. We're going to be building a house here really soon, so I'm just grabbing as much wood as I can, using control to hopefully get an apricot or a fruit so that way we get a little bit of an early game buff as soon as we can. So anyways, the reason why I say no Santa Claus is because even if you do summon Santa Claus, he ends up dying in the morning after. So with this all done, doing some research, getting as much wood and torches as I can, starting things up, building up a house. We're going to be doing the classic, I guess, speedrun thing. My brain is just kind of derping at this point. Then again, what else is new? So we're grabbing a bunch of workbenches since we're going to be needing them. I'm just using this as like a quick perspective. Since we're going to need a lot of platforms, a lot of walls, a lot of basically everything. So, building things up. Best way to build up is 5 by 11. 5 across, 11 high. Yeah, this early part's going to be a little bit boring just because you got to build houses. I'm building 25 houses, which is going to be 5 across, 5 tall. So that's basically when we go in there, because we need to have since there's 25 NPCs that move in for the regular house, and then one extra one, and that house itself is going to be the truffle house. The one extra is in case we get any slimes to move in also, but as the later portions of the run will be, there'll be a lot more. And there. Alright, so first row is down there. Now we're building up the second row. Also, I realize that the bottom tier is going to be missing something, but that's okay, I guess. Yeah, I know, definitely a slow build, but this is where the first part of the run begins. Just so that way we have it all connected instead of having to do pylon, which I guess might be something to do. I just like having them all connected first things first, so we don't have to worry about it too much. Also, people are texting me right now, so that's all fine and dandy. So don't worry about the first part being a little boring. Things will really begin to pick up afterwards. I'm not really caring too much about NPCs, so there's a mechanic in the game where if you have a lot of where if you have a bunch of NPCs close together, they'll be unhappy, and then things will be more expensive and everything. But right now, it's not really too important, since we're not building like a big old efficient pylon network. We're just building a bunch of houses. So one thing I did kind of realize as I was doing the speed run here for this one is that I probably shouldn't have done as much as I did. Well, I should have built like a couple extra houses because I ended up getting a couple town slimes. And I realized that town slimes take up their own house, so that'll come to bite me towards the end of the run. But at least this is still sub-hour, so that's the only thing that really matters for me. So, getting buildings up. This is the 4th layer, so yeah, there's a lot of town NPCs in this game. Just making sure I don't have too much overlap here. Also realizing that I probably need a few more platforms. Alright, top layer, so I don't really care too much about a flooring. Yeah, another thing I realized, that people need to stop texting me. Okay, I'm turning off my phone. Yeah, one thing I realized as I was doing some earlier runs in this category is that floors, well, you actually have to have wooden floors. You can't do platforms. NPCs don't like that. So here I'm just building building everything. Blah. My hell if I can think. So yeah, right now we're just building up all the chairs and everything so that way the NPCs can be happy. So now I'm just trying to figure out where my chairs went. I probably tossed them all again. So, getting some background, since, well, NPCs need those to move in. Yeah, it's a very efficient pattern, since normally you'd have to do like a whole lot of building across and everything. I also realized that one thing I also should have done during the parts is to fill in the gaps. I didn't realize it at first, but Now we need a bunch of chairs. Alright, torches. And that's basically how you can build houses on the cheap. Who cares if the tenants are unhappy or anything like that? So we're almost done with the boring portion of the run, where things really begin to heat up. Also, chairs are facing the wrong way, but who cares about NPC happiness? I just realized I'm a monster. Alright, that's another 20 done. I guess another 10 floors done. Alright, now we're into the final floor. So one thing that I probably should have done firsthand is to see overall housing, see if everything qualifies, but I was kind of in a rush. I wanted to get the speedrun done as soon as I can, because trying to get the sub hour was actually pretty difficult, all things considered. Like, as we'll go on throughout the run and see, there's a lot of annoying RNG to see. I was using housing, realizing that I'm missing a wall, and that's of course the down low. Also, one thing that's pretty annoying with the trying to set up housing is that multiple things using the same thing. Definitely annoying. Make sure everything's suitable. There, I just say good enough instead of going to the upper floors. And now we are moving. So one thing I am bringing on is invincibility, because this is journey mode. The reason why this is done in journey mode is for time of day stuff. Without the time of day, things get a whole lot more annoying. So one of the techniques that you probably saw was using grapple jumping. I'm not sure the official term, but basically using grapple hook, and before it connects you, jumps, that way you get a big surge of momentum. Also, we got ourselves a peach and an apricorn, immediately eat, because the well-fed buff gives you a brick there. Grabbing the yellow marigold, so that way we can get the die trader to move in as soon as I can. Organizing some menuing real quick, which I kind of forget about stuff. You know, classic me, I guess. So, looking on around, the current focus at this stage is to go around seeing if there's like any surface chests whatsoever, since we need as many surface chests as we can, since we're trying to get NPCs to move in, most particularly the demolitionist and the merchant. The merchant, so that way we can catch some bunnies, and also a requirement for a lot of NPCs to move in. And then we also need the merchant to the demolitionist to move in. Also, amazing wooden boomerang. As you'll see, we get ourselves a lot of fun loot. 45, I was thinking I was good, but I'm still a little bit off. So yeah, just looking around, just seeing what I got, since I saw some interesting perks there, but we won't be using any of them really. So we're heading over to the dungeon right now. We are not fighting Skeletron right now. Also, I was hoping that there would be more money in that chest, but I guess not. So as we're heading up here, I noticed that there's a little bit of rain, so I was like, you know what, I wonder if there's anything fun up there. Yeah, I'm just using the rope here. Realized I probably should have used a little further to the left, but Then again, it was early in the morning, my brain wasn't really thinking, so yeah. So, I was hoping that this was an actual island instead of the Sky Lakes. So, this all done, heading on into the house here, using control, and yeah, we get ourselves some good stuff here. Recall potions, I actually want those. Recall potions are going to be useful. Also, I noticed that we got a clumsy slime that was flying through the sky. Eventually, I will be partaking in a different category, slime percent. That will be fun. I am currently routing it out right now, and it ain't fun. Also, still waiting on all the chests to come in. So, heading on to the ocean right now. The reason why we're heading on to the ocean, since A, we are in the neighborhood, B, still looking for loot, and C, so we can get ourselves the next merchant. Well, I guess the next NPC. Also, grabbing the builder potion, just because. Yeah, the reason why I do want to head to the ocean right now is so that we can get ourselves the fisherman NPC. since the fisherman NPC is pretty useful. Yeah, looking around, I didn't notice the fisherman there because, well, he really blended in. Well, I guess the angler. Setting spawns up to 10. Increased likelihood. As I backtrack, I finally notice him. It's like, oh, there you are. Just taking a nap. So, heading on into the ocean just to see if I can, well, changing time of day. Yeah, heading back into the ocean so we can see if I can find any chests down here. As we head down to sea, we got the, awkward ocean, all things considered. Diet Trader moved in, so I realized I was short on money. Yeah, it was one of those, underground, things. I didn't really want to play around with it since it's annoying. Also, we get ourselves the, traveling merchant that came in, so using, some... Yeah, selling off some workbenches just to see if there was anything decent there. Not really, so I had to sell them all off. So with this all done, the merchant moves in. Same with the demolitionist here in like a few seconds. Changing things back to day. Just looking around there, seeing if there's anything good. Just double checking. Turns out I didn't have a grenade on me, so needed to head back underground. Just see if I can get a bomb or a grenade or something like that. Since we really want to have a grenade and bomb at this point in the game, because it'll help out a lot. Inside the chest, nothing really good there. Except for a night owl. Continuing on underground. Yeah, as I come to find out, this is actually a pretty big underground cavern, all things considered. There's a lot of fun stuff in there, too. So, mushroom biome is going to be very important. Mushroom biome is one of the more annoying things. Also, there's a bomb that we needed, so it's there. Mushroom biomes are going to be important because we need to create ourselves an above-ground mushroom biome for the truffle. Truffle is required, so that sucks, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't help that it's actually pretty rare, all things considered. Well, the mushroom seeds that we need, we just need one, so just trying to poke around to see. Random fairy there. Demolish has arrived. Another traveling merchant. Traveling merchants are very useful because one of the items that they sell, which helps out quite a bit, is the, trying to think here. I was looking for the merchant right now. Yeah, one of the helpful items that he sells is the lifeform analyzer, so you can see if there's any helpful things. However, though, nothing really happens good at this seed, I guess. So here, heading to the shop, buying ourselves a lot of dynamite, since we need 99 dynamite. So that way we can research it, so we have a full stack. Dynamite's basically how we are going to burrow very quickly in this game. So bringing that up there. So next up, trying to find the merchant, who is somewhere up high. There we go. So, now we are going to be playing things kind of evilly. Since our main... You might be wondering, how are we going to be doing a lot of damage? Since we're not going to be really farming for any good weapons as of right now. Well, we're going to go to hell. Quite literally, with explosive bunnies. It's a very powerful item, does like 250 damage or so. The cost, though, is, well, obvious. Turns out we are definitely monsters. So we have basically everything we need here. So now I just find a good spot here, so it's away from NPCs. Night owl. Reorganizing my inventory real quick. And now we head right down to hell. So that's the end of the first stage. Now we're going right to hell so we can rush hard mode so we can get some of the hard mode NPCs to move in and all that fun stuff. Notice there was a chest here. So inside this chest I believe was something good. Hunter potion, yes. The hunter potion is going to be the most important thing that we do. Unless I realize that I do something kind of dumb here. Just trashing some stuff. Okay, it's not right now. So yeah, so I wanted to collect this golden chest so that way I can keep the hunter potions for later, since the hunter potions, as will come on later into the run, turn out to be a godsend. Just seeing if there was anything else of note. No, so I'm just kind of doing some quick random menuing here. Turning down enemy spawn rates so that way we don't lag the game to hell and back. So, I guess another burrowing segment to the underworld. I don't think anything happens here of note besides coming across the spider den, but I'll be right back. Doing a quick pit stop back into the mushroom biomes since some mushrooms respawn. So, here I'm just using some dynamite to dig a little bit further, since once again we are still trying to get the mushroom seeds to come in. And plus some mud too, so that way we can grab the, start working on the truffle. And the truffle is definitely one of the more annoying parts. It's either this or the stylus that is very annoying. Well, there's a lot of annoying parts. Yeah, so overall we're having some pretty bad luck with the mushroom seeds. Normally it drops pretty quickly. Here, not so much. Ancient iron helmet. It's like, well, that's new. Might as well equip that, I guess. So, there we go. We got the mushroom seed, so that's everything we need here. Ideally, you want to have 2 or 3 or so, but one's good enough, good and plenty. Especially with manipulating time. Also, to the right, we have ourselves the underground desert, which there is an NPC that spawns there, the golfer, which we do rush it pretty quickly. So, just trying to burrow here a little bit, seeing if I can craft some sticky bombs. Then sticky dynamite's definitely helpful. So, just using that to bomb down a little bit. Poking around. And some more bombing down low. One of the items that we're trying to get here from these golden chests is the Hermes boots, since Hermes boots is useful. But I guess Cloud in a Bottle is also good. I guess additional dynamite, I guess. So, just looking around, seeing if there's anything. Continuing on down, another heart crystal here, which we definitely want. We want overall 5 heart crystals by the end of the run, since we are going to need all the heart crystals in order to summon the since we need 200 health in order to summon a couple of the bosses. It's not bosses, but events. So here in the desert, I'm poking here first things first, because very rarely you can find yourself the magic conch, which lets you teleport to an ocean. Saves a whole lot of time if you're able to get that, but I kind of don't want to spend too much time in here because the enemies here are pretty annoying. Thankfully, the golfer decides to be a good golfer and hang out pretty close to the entrance to the desert, so yeah, I think here I notice him, so it's like, oh, there you are. Saves me a lot of headaches. Since a lot of times he ends up in a small burrow, we have a hard time digging to him, so, and he ends up dying, especially once you get to hard mode, so the earlier you get it, the better. So now we're just using the rest of our dynamite to head on to the center of the earth. Traveling merchant, I don't really care since I just want to get to hell as soon as we can. Because the merchant can sell some pretty good hard mode stuff. Also, yeah, another heart crystal there. So, this is up to 4 of them, so we just need 1 more heart crystal. But as I kind of come to realize that I basically forgot about the heart crystal thing until later on. So now that we are in the underworld, next thing we're going to be doing, I was like, I don't want to use mud. Instead, we're going to be using some stone blocks. We're going to be making a small hell bridge. It's not really as obvious as it would be. It's not necessarily to fight the wall of flesh. It's more necessarily so that way we can have a chance at trying to get the tormented soul, which is another NPC that we're going to need towards the later portion of the run. Tortured soul is annoying, but not the worst thing in the world. I can think of like 3 other NPCs that are way worse than the tormented soul. So, building on over to a little pool here. Just making a little small house here. Since we're going to need to fight the wall of flesh here. Since wall of flesh is essentially required for the run. So, here I'm just trying to brain farting. Alright, making some platforms. And here I'm just trying to find some walls. I guess chair and wall. There we go. So now that's basically everything for the a guide to move in, so I guess continuing the we are terrible people, guide can move right on in, since, well, we don't have to worry about summoning voodoo demons, since trying to find the voodoo demons are pretty annoying. Yep, so we just set things to night, so he immediately moves in. Nighttime is when NPCs will move around, not so much daytime, at least in my experience, so here, we're just digging a little hole, and the guy just eats himself in. So here we're going to difficulty slider, setting things to master mode. And now we are going to be fighting the wall of flesh. Typically we like to fight bosses on the hardest difficulty for A, drops, more importantly, B, they're more aggressive, so more likely to run into our explosive bunnies of doom. There we go. So we finished that, and we managed to get ourselves the amount there, which is insanely good. It's like one of the best things you can get. So here doing some quick menuing, just seeing what we can do. Here I realized that maybe having the clockwork gun in the trash was the terrible decision, but it's not too bad in my eyes. I don't really care too much. I mean, yeah, it would let the arms dealer move in, but yeah. So now we're heading on to the right because we're gonna be. I forgot my brain at this point in the run. I think I was trying to rush into a into the crimson. Sorry, the corrupt biome. You might. Oh yeah, I forgot why I did the corruption. Just because it's easier to get to the loot there. Here I was thinking. Oh wait, maybe there was one on the other side, but I dropped things out there. I switched to recall potion instead of the mirror just because it's a much faster animation. But I keep the mirror around just so in case I do need the mirror. I run out of recalls. So here I'm just kind of running to the dungeon. I think halfway I remember. Oh wait, there was nothing this way. So yeah, so the demon. So I guess the goat mount here is very powerful. It guarantees you a double jump. The reason why I have a triple jump is because of the thing. I think while I was going this way, I also fight the fight Skeletron. Since we do have to fight Skeletron for 2 NPCs to move in. Yeah, Skeletron is pretty important. I kind of forgot. It's like, oh wait, maybe there wasn't anything over here. Oh well. Now we get cursed. So we're just dropping a whole lot of bunnies. Does like half the hand's health, and there we go. And it's basically almost done. So, just waiting for Skeletron to do its attack. Just dropping it on in, and just using explosive bunnies to essentially delete itself pretty quickly. So yeah, I'm just heading on into the dungeon now. Grabbing ourselves a key. You'll come to realize it here pretty soon when I grab a key. So, trying to head on to the dungeon. Yeah, dungeons in 1.4 is terrible. I hate the new dungeons, but anyways, grab another peach there so that way we can get the well fed. Now there's 2 things that we're looking for in the dungeon. Well, one in particular, and that is the mechanic. The mechanic is exclusive only to the dungeon. Here, I was just seeing if there was anything good here. I guess not. More recalls, I guess. So yeah, so there's 2 NPCs I'm looking for down here. Ideally 3, because I would like to at least visit the corruption at this point. And get ourselves a, well, there's a wizard there. A wizard only spawns in hard mode. Once entered, he's bound up somewhere in the world, so he'll just randomly spawn there. So that's one out of 2 things. Yeah, ideally I would have liked to visit the broken open a demon altar and also fight in the Eater of Worlds, so that way we can have ourselves a 3rd enemy. But there was already a demon altar there, so they're just taking that out. Anyways, there is a chest that I absolutely come to despise. Because of that chest, well, you can't really enter it. Because of that chest, it takes up a lot of spawn slots, so it makes farming something more annoying NPCs even worse. So yeah, so just looking around the dungeon right now. Not really the greatest layout. So, anyways, up here is a dungeon slime. I decided to kill it just because having an extra golden key will help out. In case I do encounter the dungeon slime again. I guess the elder slime. So, continuing to look on through. Yeah, I think the engineer from this run was pretty annoying, but not terrible. So, just setting spawn to max to maximize things. Then I noticed below ground that the slime here was trying to come in, but auto locking kept unlocking onto the door or the chair, so it's like, screw it, you can die. So I'm just using the bunnies to take out enemies. Here I noticed that the NPC was here, so warping on out. We still have a key, so that's all good and dandy. So now we're all done there. So I'm just looking around seeing if I might have encountered corruption that way, but no. So, yeah, as it turns out, the underground corruption was in a weird spot to see. Still nowhere near as bad as the previous run, but still annoying. So now we're just heading over this way. I'll go ahead and take a quick water break as we're going to head back to the jungle and a little bit further. Yeah, the joys of random seed is that you get some really annoying circumstances, so you have to think on the fly of what to do. I think probably the big thing that helped out the sub-hour run was the mountain, just because everything's in bad spots. And we're not even getting to the worst spot yet. So here I'm just burrowing underground, realizing this is another short cavern. So, probably faster to find another cavern. Yeah, again, this was a pretty bad spawn, all things considered. So just looking around to see. Turn down spawns just because they're taking a lot of slots. So there's some more dynamite to get underground. There we go. So once we're underground, now we're just going to find 3 altars so we can smash it open. The first altar guarantees a ranged weapon drop. Well, I guess a gun drop. So we use that to, well, to force a the arm sealer to spawn in. So dropping the third one. So now we can fight the Eater of Worlds. Eater of Worlds is fun, I guess. Yeah, explosive bunnies makes this pretty manageable, all things considered. So just bombing away here. Yeah, I do corruption just because it's Eater Worlds is, well, I guess pretty similar. I think the Eye of Cthulhu might be faster, but not really too bad. It's easier to get to the bottom, so we're all done there. Now we're starting the second half of the run. Yeah, phase 1 is mostly just trying to get NPCs to spawn. Phase 2 is trying to, well, I guess phase 1 is just setup. Phase 2 is doing the criteria for hunting for NPCs. Next up, I'm making myself a little bit of a dirt biome. So yeah, this housing is going to look a little weird, but the reason why I'm just doing this is to maximize surface area to get the mushroom biome to spawn in, since we need a mushroom biome. But yeah, he's doing some weird shenanigans here. So I also realized a whole lot of NPCs were spawning. It's like, you know what? That probably wasn't a good idea. So, just trying to figure out where the bench is. Well, having the platform there was annoying me. Get the bench. Trying to find a chair. Place chair. Get rid of some junk, I guess. Some wallpaper. Yeah, this is the more traditional house I do. I go with this route just so the mushroom biome can spawn in a lot easier. Yeah, I realized at this point that I probably should have checked where did the arm sealer move in. Well, we'll get to that later on. But at least we get the arm sealer. So with this all done, we are now done with setups, and now we are going to be doing a boss rush. So, heading on to time, we're going to be alternating between day and night now for a little bit. Because we're going to be fighting the mechanical bosses, starting things up with the worst boss, the twins. The twins suck because, well, retinazers, so what we're doing is that I'm just building a line here. Only problem, though, is that because of the mount, we end up doing a lot of explode the bunnies prematurely, so I'm just leading the twins along so that way they blow themselves up from the line. So here I'm just letting them all come to me, blowing them up. Yeah, the twins for Journey is the worst boss to run. Just because they like staying out of your range. So, keep things slow. Once they're all coming to me, I just let them fall in. Yeah, the first one we're doing is Spasmatation. So, let them all come to me. So, overall, this is probably an annoying boss. I think one of the abuses that you can do for the bosses is to spawn them during the nighttime. When one comes in, turn things to day, and then turn it back to night so that way you can force the bosses. I guess one boss to despawn, but the other stays put. However, though, this is a no major abuses category, so... Well, I say that as we are invincible, but that's beside the point. So Retinazer is probably the more annoying of the lot. Just because Retinazer loves staying just outside of reach. Yeah, if I had a range weapon, I'd be doing it right now. Turns out if I didn't get rid of the clockwork gun, it probably would have been a little better, but eh. Also, the enemies are throwing off my bunny strategy. So, send back to the middle. Letting him come behind me, and then blowing him up as we go. Thankfully, we're almost done with this fight. Just like 1,000 health or so. Come on, you can end this phase, please. Okay, eat bunny. I guess random fast clock. Alright, now we're basically done here. I'm just trying to get close to the boss, but no. So with this all done, the reason why I want to fight the bosses on Master Mode is for their drops, because at least on Expert Mode, they're able to drop, well, they have a chance of dropping dev items. Dev items includes like special wings, which are, any wing that we get is going to be better than our fledgling wings. Adds to more vertical mobility, since that's basically what we're struggling with. Next up is the Destroyer. Turn things back to Master Mode. Yeah, I want to make sure that I turn off Master Mode, because otherwise if you turn that 40,000 to like 180,000, that would take a significant chunk of time. So thankfully the Destroyer, we can just stay put, drop explosive bunnies, and kaboom. Yeah, this one turns out to be really good since we get ourselves a couple wing drops here. So I was trying to figure out where the scowl goes in wings, but I think it ends up confusing me a little bit, so. Dropping things back down to Journey. Now, we're going for the final fight here. Also, a lot of solar eclipses happen. That's expected, I guess. Also, I think at this point I got annoyed with all the enemies spawning, so. Come on, Skeletron. There we go. Skeleton Prime is the last of the bosses. Overall, Prime ain't too bad. Some annoying aspects, quite a bit of health, but at least once he comes at you, he goes pretty quickly. He's dropping bunnies like no tomorrow. Happy Easter, I guess. Yeah, so just dropping things down low. The chainsaw makes explosive bunnies. A little bit annoying, but thankfully, it kind of blows itself up. And I guess the vice grip also being an annoying thing, but at least once it's down to 2 arms, it's not too bad. Just trying to get up to the skull. So, drops down. No. Basically, the rest of Skeleton is pretty quick. Definitely way easier than, definitely easier than the twins. So, just waiting for him to drop back down. I think I was trying to kill off the vice grip before the prime phase comes in. Maximize bunnies to the face. So, essentially at this point with only 2 arms left, he's pretty much done for. Then coming down. And kind of beat him to the bunnies, and we're all good there. We have enough bunnies. I don't even care about the drop since I got myself a dev wing, so we're all good there. So with this all done, now we're going to be heading on into the jungle because we're now going to be fighting Plantera and Queen Bee. That's the 2 things in the jungle. Anyways, we need to defeat a mechanical bosses because defeating 1 unlocks a steampunker, and 2, and more importantly, unlocks Plantera because the cyborg is locked behind Plantera. And that is the last NPC that's locked behind, the last NPC that's locked behind boss progression, since Golem and the Lunatic Cultist do not have any NPCs that spawn, so that's fine and dandy, I guess. Anyways, Ride comes in. Definitely will be helpful. And I guess, here's the, Queen Bee, I guess. Queen Bee I just kind of ignore since, yeah. Just let it do its thing. So heading on into the jungle, there's 2 things that we're, one more thing that we're looking for now that we got Queen Bee pursuing us, and that is going to be Plantera. Plantera is infamous for, well, its spawning criteria, which is, well, a myth. So just seeing what we get there. I think we got ourselves the flower boots there, I don't remember. Because I do remember getting the Hermes boots at some point. So, there was Plantera. Also, normally during my jungle excursions, this is when I collect heart crystals because they're pretty common here. Yeah, literally right after we got the floral boots. So, yeah, seeing what else we get there. Turns out nothing really a note. I think some dynamite's supposed to be on that trapped chest, but eh. So just using the torches to poke around here. Alright, Witch Doctor has moved in. Witch Doctor is tied to the Queen Bee, so... Yep. Anyways, here we get ourselves thorns, well, I try using thorns, but no. So yeah, so using the gravity potion to poke around a whole lot quicker instead of having to move around. Plus, I think this does help out quite a bit. So heading onto the dungeon, I noticed Plantera bulb, so... Yeah, sorry about the perspective change. So now we're fighting the last of the bosses that we'll be fighting for the run. Setting things up to hard mode. Just because there's two things I want from Plantera besides, well, the loot, and that's going to be basically its boss drop and the spore sack. The spore sack will help out quite a bit when we get to the, once we get to the horde boss, the horde fights, the goblin and the pirate invasion. It helps out quite a bit more than you would think. Just having the spore sacks, it's a nice little quality of life that makes Spelunking a little nicer. Since it also pierces through walls. So, getting on close to the end. Yeah, thankfully Plantera is a pretty quick boss. Just stays put, just button mash, and you're all good. There, I just started doing some stuff. Kiwi don't need Seedling. I guess I plop out just because. And most importantly, the grenade launcher. Grenade launcher is going to be very helpful, and the cyborg moves in. So that's the last of the NPCs there. Also, just trying to figure out what else should we get. So, there we go. We got the spore sack. So all those little things there basically helps out. Heading on to the cyborg and buying ourselves 100 rocket 3s. It's essentially an upgrade to the rocket. Rocket number 1, so. Since we got all the rockets that we need. Head on to research that. Turn difficulty down to journey since we won't be upping the difficulty for the rest of the run. So now we got everything that we need. So now is going to be the cleanup portion where we have a lot of NPCs. Also, before we go to hell, I need to remember to grab ourselves the hunter potion since there's a few NPCs. And eventually I will remember to grab the grab some Dryad dust, I guess. I guess what I was most concerned about heading down in here is finding the Tavern Keep and finding the Silas. Those are like the two big run enders on my part. Just because if I have a good run heading on into exploration, typically those two ruin it. Since they're both surprisingly pretty rare. Especially the Silas for some reason. Since you have to find a spider den and then make sure that she doesn't die by the time you're able to get there. Just seeing if there was any good potions there, I guess. In hindsight, there really shouldn't have been any reason I talked to the merchant there, but yes, I did. So the hunter potion is a major godsend because you can poke around. If it's green, you can talk to it. If it's red, like that nymph down there, we can avoid it. Also, a carton of milk there, I guess. I was debating, but it's like, do I get it? Nah. Actually, I do get it. Just because it's a helpful buff. Yep, well fed. Well, I guess well drank, I guess. No, so we're just trying to poke around right now, seeing if we can find ourselves the, I really want to try to find is the Tavern Keep. I guess, not the Tavern Keep, but the, Silas. Silas helps out quite a bit, but I think with this run I had some difficulty trying to get them to spawn. So, nothing really good down there. Also at this point, I remember that I do want to grab some purification powder. So, at this point, we don't need a bug net anymore. And we just sell our dirt. So, talking to you, just seeing if you had anything fun. Nope. Except for the diamond ring, I guess, but I don't got the money. Just like in real life. Also, trying to remember what I backtracked here for. Oh yeah, I noticed that the arm sealer moved in where the truffle was, so I stuck him in the house, and the truffle moves in basically instantaneously. That's what I moved there for. So, dynamite because I moved it and I forgot to move it back. Oh well. So now we're doing another hell excursion. So I'm ahead doing a quick water break here. And I guess since we're getting close to the bottom here, here's what I realized. Oh, maybe we are getting close to the same area that we were before. Yeah, it turns out I elevated in the wrong spot, but it works out in the end, I guess. It's poking around since also I think at this point I realized I need one more heart crystal. So, I was hearing some pops here and there, but it must have been just some underground enemies, I guess. Underground critters. So, back to blowing stuff up. So, now we'll be using the grenade launcher, since grenade launcher is very strong. I was hoping burrowing a little bit further to the left I'd be able to find the spider nest, but no. I think pretty soon I do find a spider nest. Either pretty soon or when I start getting these things back in. Oh, here's where I spot the spider nest, which is actually a good sized one. If it spawns just wrong, then it's hell. But to be honest, the spider dens are terrible. So I guess this is where the spore sacks come in, which definitely help out quite a bit. So, using this to light the way. Yeah, this is definitely a good sized spider den. I mean, not the craziness that was the previous spider den, but good enough, I guess. Yeah, it kind of sucks trying to get to the cobweb without a really good weapon that does cobweb stuff, but can't win them all, I guess. So, I'm just trying to poke things around. Anyways, over here is another spider den here. Using the power of explosives. This was actually a really good sized one. Yeah, I think the run before this I had basically nobody. I was hearing some enemy said, I think? Thought I just heard something. Oh well. Moving back down here. See if we can find the NPC. And right up there was a tavern keep. So, thankfully the tavern keep was just in the right spot. So I could just talk to him without him despawning. So there, and the stylist also, so. That was basically a major boon that I was hoping for. And typically those two are the reasons why this run sucks, because they sometimes just do not want to spawn. And I guess there's a rune wizard. I was hoping there would be a quicker way into hell, but no. Back to dynamite, I guess. If only dynamite didn't take so long to explode, but I guess that's the perks of having a long fuse. Yeah, we're almost back into hell. There we go. So now that we're back in hell, our next mission is to find a tormented soul. Tormented soul is the tax collector. Not getting to the implications about that, but you kind of know where it goes. Yeah, so the tormented soul is an annoying spawn, not the worst spawn though. Far from Cavern Keep. I've had runs die to Cavern Keep and the stylist just not spawning. So, just trying to see if I can get it spawned. Since we're in the basically the corruption portion of the world, we got those enemies to contend with spawns too. So, at this point, bring back spawn rate to 10. Just have better chances at it. And there's the spore sack just This being great. So, couldn't plop it on through. Party girl arrived, so that's good. 1 for a chance once you have 14 or so NPCs in your world. That helps out. Frankly, I forget about party girls since you just spend a lot of time just hunting for NPCs anyways. So yeah, that's the purpose of that hell bridge, just to hopefully increase the chances of the tormented soul to spawn there. At this point, I just decided to just YOLO, but get stuck because Terraria. Already throwing a party, so cool slime will be moving in. There we go. Alright, and of course there's the NPC. Thankfully, the tax collector is immune to lava. I guess I ignored the NPC there, but frankly I'm all good there, so at this point I realized, oh wait, I need one more before we're all good. Since there's only 2 NPCs that we're looking for left before the princess will spawn, and that is going to be the pirate, or I guess the pirate captain, and the trying to think. Brain, please stop derping. The Goblin Tinkerer, there we go. So I'm just using the lights to poke on around, see if I can maybe find the last, just find one more heart crystal. Of course, I'm having no luck here. It's not too hard of a look, I don't think. Just backtracking. And this was like one spot that I didn't explore too well. I remember I was like in a dumb spot too. Oh, there's the nurse at long last. I forgot about the nurse, but at the same time, it's one of the NPCs you just forget about because it's just guaranteed instead of being one of those, oh look, you have to search all over for a 1% spawn. Alright. And I think really soon we find the last heart crystal we need. Yeah, I realize I'm just about to surface. So, back in the underground, using lights to look up. And I think at this point, yep, there's actually 2 that I noticed there in post. So, getting rid of stuff, getting the last container, and warping back up to the surface for hopefully the last time. So now we're just shuffling between day and night. We got Blood Moon, of course, Goblin Army approaching from the west. So, the Goblin Army, yeah, this was a major time loss. So one of the reasons why I wanted to get either the Wasp Gun or the grenade launchers, because it makes this portion so much nicer. You can just toss things, basically kill these guys in one hit. And if you find a sweet spot, you can just plot back and forth. I think I was just about to find that good sweet spot. There we go. So I just kind of toss one in both directions, and takes care of things pretty quickly. Realize that my timer's in the way, but it's like 68% or something like that. There we go, Goblin Army is defeated, so that's one of the 2 armies that we need to kill. And this is where I basically bleed a lot of time. Because the pirates, they did not want to spawn. Which is another source of RNG at the end of the run. I like saving the armies for last, so that way I don't have to worry about them overriding NPCs moving in. There's Goblin Army moving in again. It's like, okay, y'all want to be obliterated again? Fine. Yeah, it's supposed to be, the first army approaching is supposed to be pretty common, but the second approaching is supposed to be, pretty rare. So, grenade launcher doing grenade launcher things, I guess. Yep, just power yeeting, bombs, I guess. There we go. Yep, that's 50th Warrior. There we go. Goblin Army is done. So now comes the last part. I think it took me like a solid 2 minutes for it to spawn. Whole lot of parties though, and solar eclipses. Yeah, very unfortunate that I had a lot of time lost at the very end of the run, but that's the nature of Princess Percent. Yeah, I guess with better gameplay and better luck in general, you'll be able to get yourself sub 50 is definitely possible. But of course, you have to have good luck. Also, you can see the zoologist transforming there quite a bit. More Blood Moon. At this point, I was wondering, wait, do pirates even exist? You know, it's like more than 1 in 60 chance. Another goblin army. 3 goblin armies before one even comes in. I think at this point I was kind of just done with the runs. Like, okay, if I don't get this freaking pirate scene, I'm gonna quit. We're just getting to the last portion of the run too. I guess the other fun thing about how I built this house is that I have a lot of NPCs around, so they're able to contribute to the event too. Also, rip whatever that was. Alright, Goblin Army is defeated once again. 3rd time in a day. Here I'm just getting very annoyed. It's been like 4 minutes. There we go. And finally the pirates arrive. So I guess time to rain justice from above. Yeah, the pirates overall, I think, go a little bit faster. Especially if you get yourself quite a few pirate ships that come in. And I think with all the pirates, everybody decides to hop down into the fray. So, I freeze time because I don't want any more excursions to go on. I just want time to stop, so that way I don't have to deal with another goblin invasion or pirate invasion. Because if you have an invasion going on, then NPCs will not move in. There, I just used the buff just to see if I had anything fun in. So, here I bring on the Hunter Potion, just because we're getting pretty close to the end of the run. I'll be needing the Hunter Potion in order to find the, trying to find the Goblin Tinkerer. Since he's bound up underground once you defeat the Goblins, probably would have been okay to get the Goblins beforehand, but I didn't want to risk having multiple invasions going on. That's cluttering up things. Here I just used the last grenade launcher. That should be basically it for the pirates. Yeah, pirates are defeated. They're all done there. Let them clean up. I think there was a lucky coin in there or something like that. So now comes the final portion before, well, waiting for everybody to move in. And that's the Goblin Tinkerer. I think the Goblin Tinkerer was pretty quick. Alright, change spawn to times 10. My brain continues to smooth brain out. So right up here is where I made a huge mistake. I should not have unlocked that guy. So just looking on around, notice over here that, well, Tinkerer is in a good spot. So back up to the surface, bring things back down to 1. Now I just move things back to dawn. Should unfreeze time. So in theory, this should be everything that we need to finish up the run. We have all but 1 NPC. I was trying to figure out what the last NPC was, and that was the pirate. Only problem with the pirate, though, is that once you get to it, I think he moves in pretty soon. I was just trying to... Yeah, I paused to look at my notes, see if there was anybody I forgot. Here I realized it was just the pirate. So in theory, it should move in here really quickly, but... Now, as you notice that there's a lot of town slimes here, and there's 2 empty slots here. So, here, missing wall, so I needed to repair the walls real quick. I was wondering if I had any things in my hand. So this is why you complete your walls. There we go. We got those to move in, so now we just go back to unfreezing time. And now the last NPC should move in theory. Which I think the pirate moves in here pretty quickly. I think the Goblin Tinkerer just moved in. Any day now. Yeah, this RNG time bleed at the end of the run's annoying. Yeah, I like this category, but at the same time, I hate it. I'm just switching things from midnight today, just so that way I don't risk an invasion coming in to take up those slots and bleed time anymore. I was just desperate to get sub-hour. So I'm just wandering the world real quick, just seeing if maybe the pirate will just move in. Since in theory the pirate should. And finally there, it's like, okay, that's everybody. The princess should move in. So, just waiting on the princess to move in, but the previous seat I had, the princess would basically not move in for like a solid 15 minutes. Was it 15? It was kind of like this, where I just had a bunch of time bleed out at the very end for no good reason. So I'm just exploring the world real quick, seeing, okay, it was out this way. So at this point, it's just like, okay, all my houses are full. So, just continuing to wait time. It's like, okay, can we just get things going? Now I'm just doing some thinking. Yeah, so at this point I learned that, well, maybe we should not have slimes move in, since apparently you can't move slimes elsewhere. So at this point I decided to just pause time and build a new house, so that way the princess can move in. Just my generic house. I really wasn't in the mood to do the fancy house. Just doing the house I'm more familiar with. Basically how I play things casually. Do some background walls. Now the usual things. Also got the couple of pirate spawns there. And also I think there was a golden lucky coin. I think it was the seed that had it. I don't remember. I know one seed I had it on the background. So use this. Suitable. So now I just let time play. And basically time's gonna drop here really quickly. There we go. Princess is done. That was a fun run. Hopefully you all enjoy this run. Yeah, this category, it's RNG hell, but it's a lot of fun. You don't have to do a whole lot of fighting. Just a whole lot of exploring and optimizing and a whole lot of RNG bullcrap. So this has been Orpheolus with Terraria Princess Percent. Hopefully y'all enjoy this detailed explanation of my ramblings and all that stuff. And I'll see you all for the next seed.